Hey guys, welcome back. We are now on part 4 of our Airship Enterprise build, and this will be the final part. So, let's get cracking and get this ship done. First things first, I need to create more rotor blades. I need 8 little blades for my fore and aft masts, and I'm just simply cutting these out of some styrene. Now that all my blades are cut out, I need a support structure to attach them to the mast. I just cut up a bunch of little sprues here and I'm super gluing them to the blades themselves. Once I'm done with this, I go back in with a very small drill bit and I drill holes in the back of the sprue. I then will attach tiny little pins to those and pin them into the mast. And here they are all completed. I have the pins installed and I'm ready to install these into my masts. I now have the rest of my rigging painted up and ready for installation. Here is our main rotor blade all painted up and ready to be installed onto the mast. Now have all the detail painting done on the hull. We have our washes in place, we have those little winglets installed, we even have our bowsprit in place. So now it has come down to final assembly. We have to get a bunch of stuff together. Our masts, our main mast, we have to get that main blade on that mast, we have to get our skids in place, and finally we have to get our other 2 blades all together and installed. And now our ship is mounted to the base. Over that railroad turf I added a bunch of elements from our scenic kit, a couple of different colors of grass, a bunch of shrubs, and even some flowers for flavor. And here is our Airship Enterprise all complete, you guys. As a final bit of detail, I decided to add rigging, and in doing so learned a new appreciation for you shipbuilders out there. You have the patience of saints. This little bit of rigging took me a good 3 hours, tying microscopic knots and tiny little drops of super glue. I added rigging to our bowsprit, to each of the masts, in between the masts, and to our little winglets there. I think it adds an extra dimension to this build and looks mighty cool, if I don't say so myself. I also had some decals that I had left over, so I decided to add to those winglets there. Added some chevrons to each of our blades. I also had a name plaque left over from my last Star Trek build, so I decided to add an Enterprise to the hull. It is right there, difficult to show off, but there is an Enterprise name tag right behind that ladder, right about here. It does say it, trust me. Tons of weathering too, you guys. Added streaks all over the place with my Tamiya Weathermaster kits. To those winglets, to the hull, to the skids, to the actual blades themselves. Added some more decals to our stabilizer blades and to our drive blade. Right there on our stabilizer there's a little red chevron. And I added 3 to our drive blade. But let's take a look at this in some low light and see how our lighting turned out. And here are our lights. Very simple. 3 LEDs going out to a 3-volt coin battery in the base. Can't get easier than that, you guys. But it adds a nice little dimension to the build that wouldn't otherwise be there. You can even see those little windows. And that's where we're going to call it for this build, you guys. Since this video is so short, I'm going to tack on a little bit of history about the Enterprise from Final Fantasy IV. So if you want to watch that, it's after the credits. But I want to thank everyone for watching. I want to thank all my old subs. I want to thank all my new subs. You guys are equally mega. And until next build, you guys take care. Wow, you stuck around. That's amazing. Here is our Enterprise in all of its 16-bit glory. This is how it appeared in Final Fantasy IV for the Super Nintendo back in the day. But why? Why is this ship called the Enterprise? Well, that has to do with this guy. This is Ted. Hi, Ted. Ted was a translator for Squaresoft through most of the 90s. Ted had, shall we say, a eclectic translation technique. He had a little bit of a sense of humor, shall we say. Also, Ted was a bit of a Star Trek fan. In fact, so much so that he would sneak Star Trek references into multiple video games. So, why is the Enterprise named that in Final Fantasy IV? Because this Star Trek fan is awesome.